In this interview, I'll interview Jason Merriman, director of Death Trap, the latest production by Standing Ovation Theater in Clear Lake.
Tell me about it. How's it going?
It's going well. We're about halfway through the rehearsal process. We've got a good cast, a great crew, and production team, and we're moving forward to it. We're making big strides. It's nice to see what I was hoping it could be, and I'm seeing moments of that now, and so we're getting there. It's exciting.
Take us back a little bit. Jeff, how did you get involved with theater in the first place?
Well, I was involved in theater in high school, and then there's a big long gap. And my daughter from my first marriage came to live with me and my current wife when she was in high school, and she asked for what she could do to make friends, to be included, and I suggested that she try out, get involved with theater and stuff like that. And in support of her, I became a theater dad at Manville High School. Shortly after that, our local theater, community theater, the Pearl Theater in Pearland, was doing 12 Angry Men. And I thought, well, maybe I'll audition. So after 25 years, whatever, I went and auditioned, and I ended up with the lead, the Henry Fonda role in that show. And it just hasn't stopped since then. I've been going for over 10 years now. My daughters, with my current marriage, all were involved with theater all through high school. I've acted with both of them on stage. It was something that was missing in my life that I didn't know it was missing until I was doing it. And now I'm evolved to directing. So.
Okay. And did you have any theater background when you were a kid, or?
Yeah, just high school. Just high school.
So you did do something.
I did it in high school, but I haven't. I would like to say that a lot of my education in theater is to the fact that me and my wife like going to plays. And now that I have friends I've made friends, theater friends and stuff, I show up to go to plays when my friends do. So it's not uncommon for us to see 40 or 50 productions a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of weekends we'll see 3 different productions. And that is a great education in theater, is just seeing shows. You start to see what works, what doesn't work, what carries the weight, what doesn't. And with my girls in high school, we saw all the high school plays and in the area and stuff like that. And so we go to the Alley, we go to Tuts, and we go to Broadway Across America and that sort of thing. So,
what do you like about the smaller community theaters as opposed to maybe the big stuff like Jones? You might see Jones Hall. I mean, is there any difference to you? And if so,
there's a huge difference. The big difference to me is how, what's the word I'm looking for? How intimate community theater can be as opposed to going to the Alley, going to especially Tuts, something like that, when you're literally 10, 15 feet from the audience, sometimes even closer, depending on how the stage is laid out, and how everyone can be involved with the community theater. I mean, the words are right, it's right there, right? Community and theater. You can bring those two things together. And so I think there's a big difference. I try to do, it's a goal of mine to be as professional as I possibly can in the community theater, but everybody's volunteering their time. So I want my cast, my crew, to have fun doing this, but making this art. I want them to enjoy themselves. Hopefully we can do that, and it's approachable and it's intimate. And that doesn't always happen with professional theater. I mean, it can, but in general, just because once you start staging up, the audience gets further away, if that makes sense.
Right, it does.
Yeah.
In the dance world, it's the same thing when you're on stage. In the big theater, it's so nebulous.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's so distant. But the small, intimate venue,
Yeah.
they're right there. They see your feet. They see your expression. So.
I saw a production of Guys and Dolls at Theater Across America, and then I went, and I didn't really care for the show, and I went to Arkansas State. Had a summer theater thing. My daughter from my first marriage was an intern for that, and it was Arkansas State Shakespeare Festival. They always did one straight musical, and it was Guys and Dolls, and I was not excited to see it. But they turned around the theater, where they put the seats, grandstands in the back of the theater, and the front of the theater where the audience traditionally sat was kind of the backdrop. And that Guys and Dolls was so intimate, and it really clued me in about how different, how you have to look at things differently when you're in that intimate setting.
How did you come to be involved with Standing Ovation?
Well, Standing Ovation's this is their first year, and they put out when they were looking for plays, they call for directors and stuff. They wanted classic plays, and I had not done a thriller until this moment. I wanted to try my hand at it. I'm as a director trying to progress in my art, I keep looking for different challenges. I don't want to do the same shows all over. Like I wanted to do a big cast at one point in time, so I did Almost Maine, so I had 15, 16 actors. But I hadn't done a thriller, so I wanted to do thriller. They were looking for classic shows. I figured, what is more classic than the longest running comedy thriller on Broadway? And this show is it is a very interesting show to do. So I'm very excited about putting it in front of an audience.
Okay. The difference between acting and directing. Now, some people say, well, there's clear differences, but some people may not have a clue what the difference is. They may just think, I don't know much about theater. It's all acting to me.
Yeah.
Talk about the different roles.
I'll be honest, I don't know which one I like more. Acting is like painting with a single brush on a giant painting that everybody else is painting onto. So sometimes it doesn't matter how good sometimes it doesn't matter how good or even bad you are. It doesn't necessarily translate to how good or bad the play is. When you're directing, I might not be painting with a brush, but I'm telling people how to paint with all the brushes. So I get it more of a chance to push my point of view, more of what how I see the play. As an actor, I can delve into the character and I can see how I think that character might move, and hopefully I have a good director that lets me explore that, and together we collaborate and come up with an idea with this. But when it's me directing, I kind of get to push and pull on all those different levels and levels, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I'm also a very collaborative director. So I don't care where an idea comes from, whether it's my stage manager, whether it's my assistant director, or an actor on stage that says, hey, what do you think about this? And especially early in rehearsals, I'm like, show me. And if their idea is better, we're going to do I'm taking my ego out of the way. As long as it drives the story. My mentor told me a long time ago, our job is to tell the story and drive the story, and tell it in the best, clearest way you possibly can. And if their idea does that better than mine, we're going to go with that. And then my ego gets in the way, and I said, it doesn't matter. They're going to think I did it. So,
how many shows have you directed so far?
I've directed a couple melodramas, and let's see, this is my seventh full show.
Oh, okay.
Seventh full show. So I've directed the Pearl Theater. I've directed the Pasadena Little Theater. I'm directing this year here and next year here. I'm also directing at the Owen Theater in Conroe next year. So, and then I've done some student directing for Dirt Dogs. So.
Okay. And so if people aren't familiar with the production you're currently working on, tell them about it. What if they come here in a few weeks to come and see the show opening night, or maybe over the couple of weekends during the run, what might they experience?
Oh, okay. Well, Death Trap is written by Ira Levine, and it was the longest running comedy thriller on Broadway. And it's basically about a playwright, Sidney Bruhl, who was a one-time hit playwright, but he hasn't had a hit play in a very long time. And he comes across a student play called Death Trap that is a surefire hit on Broadway. And he plots to basically steal the play. And without giving away too much more, that's kind of the hijinks that ensue from that. And it very much, I do think in researching this, it was a movie with Christopher Reeves and Michael Caine. But in doing some research in this, I think the comedy in it gets lost sometimes. So I'm trying to lean into that comedy a little bit more than maybe other productions would do. My goal is deliciously wicked is what I'm looking for in a play. I really hope to get some gasp. I also hope to get some laughs that are more like, I can't believe I laughed at that, is what I'm looking for in this. So,
and what's sort of the rating? If you could put a rating on it, is it PG-13? Is it R?
There is some violence in it, so I would say PG-13. It's not overly graphic, but there will be some depictions of violence and some weapons and stuff like that. So I have a fight choreographer for the show. They've done dual coordinators. They've done a great job with the fight choreography. I think it's going to come out very, very well, and I think we'll get the laughs we're looking for. I think we'll get the chills that we're looking for too.
Okay. Now, as far as cast is concerned, how many cast members, actors are in the show, and are they relatively new actors, or do you have a good mix of experience versus new?
I think all my actors are fairly experienced, but it's new. Two of them I know fairly well. David, who plays the lead, Sidney Burrell, was in the first full-length play that I ever directed. Teddy I've acted with on stage a couple times, and I've directed him once. Other than that, he plays Clifford, the young playwright. The other three I've never worked with before, but they've had experience. They've done shows with. So this is a nice mix for me about people that I know and kind of trust, and some people that I hope to get to know and trust. And it's going fairly well so far. And it was nice. We had a big turnout, and I had to say no to some friends. But that is the hard part about being a director, is that people are looking at you with cast me eyes, and I've got to tell people no. And that's just tough. But all those choices let me have a great cast. So,
okay, let's segue off the show for a second. I want to further develop something you just mentioned. One of the responsibilities of the director, when you have auditions, I know they're always calling for auditions for the different productions that are coming up. How do those auditions work here, maybe as opposed to some places that you've done auditions?
Yeah, a lot. Generally, they have at least in Houston, what I've experienced, there's two types of auditions, which are cold reads. You come in, the director hands you a script, a few pages of script, gives you a brief description of the character and kind of what they're like, and you just cold read, which is what I did for this show. There's also some where you prepare a monologue or a certain type of monologue. You come in and you read that, and you go off of that. My problem with that is I don't always, the monologue they choose or whatever doesn't really fit in with what I'm looking for a character. If I do a cold read, I get the opportunity to give a couple directives. I'm like, that was great, but can you do this more apprehensive? Or, this person is plotting, and I can give some directions, which allows me to see if the person can take direction, if they're willing, if they can. And by taking direction, I don't mean just, I mean not just, maybe not being able to take it is one of the things you're looking for while they do it exactly the same, but if they can change on the fly. And then also, that's one of the things that lets me know maybe how easy they are to work with too. And that's one of the things you're always looking for as a director. I mean, I want people that can take direction and are easy to work for, or easy to work with. That makes my job so much easier than somebody that maybe I have to struggle to get to certain points. But it's always that balance of stuff. It's that 3-pillar thing where they say to do good work, you got to show up on time, get along with people, and do good work. And 2 out of the 3 will work. But I'm always looking for those 3 things. And the other big thing that you run into is conflicts. And we had a few conflicts on this, not too many, but I did have somebody that I thought was really good for the part, and there was way too many a part, and it was just way too many conflicts on their known conflicts, and it was like I've got to be able to rehearse. So yeah, and then with a cast of just 5, it's hard to move on to something else because people are so involved in the show.
Okay, and when you rehearse with people, how do you know when you've got the person you have in your mind for a part right in front of you, as opposed to maybe thinking, oh, they're good, but let me look and see this one over here is drawing my attention. Maybe it's their look.
It's interesting. You do have to balance the look of the character, like what I'm seeing as the character versus what's in front of me, because sometimes I have an example of this. I had 2 younger people come and audition, and they were terrific, and I couldn't cast them. They were too young for the parts. Okay. I actually called them back or called them over after and said, you guys are terrific. Please keep auditioning. I just can't use you for the show. And I put them up with the other people I was considering up in front to see if I could justify it, and I just couldn't. So it's odd that you have to balance somebody's look with the character, and that sometimes that's hard because you don't want to judge. For me, the biggest thing is do I think I can direct the person to the performance that I'm thinking of? Almost invariably, they'll give me stuff that I hadn't thought of. And I've been in a few auditions where somebody got up and they're two lines into it, and I'm like, well, this is done. I know that's the right person. And I've also been in auditions that the people are 2 lines in, and I'm like, I can't cast them. So it goes both ways. So it's interesting. It's nice when the lightning happens. Yeah, I did Rainmaker at Pasadena, and the guy who played my Rainmaker picked up the thing, was 2 lines into it, and my assistant director went. I'm like, yeah, I already know. I already know. Yeah.
You know when you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in addition to that, what's some of the hardest part about directing? Obviously, it's hard to make decisions about a person participating or not, and then directing people on stage. But what about some of the things that people don't know about the role of a director?
Well, in community theater, the hardest part is how much you have to do as a director, because you're involved. In professional theater, you have design teams that are working under the concept that the director has given them. I do have a production team with this. I have given. It's hard for me to give up those things because I've had to do it. Sometimes it's like, here's the key, put on a show. It's making all those decisions from what people are going to wear, what kind of props, the set. In a professional theater, you have a set designer that comes up with concepts and puts in front of the director, and the director's like, oh, I like this and I like this, and they put it all together. Here, I'm the set director, I'm the set designer, I'm also one of the builders, or we have a production manager here, Chris Lowe, who's wonderful, who's helping me with it, but the set design is all myself. That is sometimes the most difficult. It's putting all that. You're your own production team once in a while. I'm getting to the point now where I've got enough people that I know and work with that I can let some of that go. Right. So that's starting to work out. And then it's just the thing that worries me is, are people going to see the show like I'm seeing the show? Or the moments I'm crafting, the way I'm putting it together, is it going to hit with the audience? And I think audiences are far more intelligent than we give them credit for. I think there's a lot of subtle things you can do, and the audience will pick up on it. Even if they don't pick up on it consciously and say, oh, subconsciously they're picking up on looks and even directions and the way things feel. And so I hope they're getting what I think that's difficult, hoping that what you're seeing, what you're hoping to come across, that you're actually doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talked earlier about in productions, if people have ideas, you're amenable to at least listening to them.
Oh, yeah.
As a director, how much of the story, because I know most of these are copyrighted stories, and a little bit I know about that is you got to stick to it as much as you can.
Yeah,
how much can you tweak?
Well, you cannot. You can't tweak dialogue.
Okay.
So with the copyright, you have to pretty much go with it. I mean, there's things like if somebody refers to glasses and the person can't take off their glasses, maybe you tweak it a little bit to something like that. I mean, maybe you do. I've actually written to a couple publishing houses saying, like when I did a melodrama, can I set this in Texas? And they were like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If you get permission to do that, you can do things like that. And the scripts that I got from melodrama, actually, they were like, you can change whatever you want. We don't care. But some people care very, very much. So it kind of depends on the production that you're doing. A lot of the scripts come with the stage directions. Well, stage directions are generally written when they first did the first show that they ever did. They had stage directions. Some of it comes from the writer itself, but some of it is so you can tweak some of that. You've got to keep it roughly the same, but I can tweak something like that. But there's a lot of interpretations you can go through, and when you have 2 or 3 pages is just like dialogue with no stage directions, there's a lot of freedom to kind of make, and you think of the way that you can say the lines, you can deliver lines, or whether or not the line. Some actor might deliver a line angrily, while somebody else might do it frustrated, somebody else might do it scared, and it completely changes the feel of the scene based on whatever emotion they put into that.
So you can do that without violating.
I can do that without violating copyright laws. And in a thriller like this, I'm always looking to give the actors adjectives to crank up the tension. I want whatever they're saying, especially in a show like this. There's a lot of double meanings in the lines they're saying. So we always say you can act 2 truths at one time. You can be saying something that's completely truthful, but have it be deceitful at the same time. It can be interpreted 2 different ways. So yeah, you can tweak it that way. You can tweak kind of and actually drive your interpretation of the story that way. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a couple of weeks left in rehearsals, and when's opening day going to be?
October 10th through the 18th is when Death Trap will be running here at Standing Ovation. We'll have 6 shows total. We'll have it Friday and Saturday nights. I think it's 8 o'clock, and then on Sundays we have a matinee. You can get those tickets at You can look at Standing Ovation website. And just follow the Death Trap link for tickets, and you can get tickets right there. So.
Very good. Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on and tell me about your experience in theater, the ins and outs of directing and acting, and I hope Death Trap's a success.
I hope so too. I hope to see you there.
If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting our effort to share the news in print and on our extensive website, and now on our new YouTube channel. Contact publisher David Day at area code 409-943-4265 to support the Post newspaper today.